Hello, everyone out there in cyber world. Welcome to Financial Coach for You webinar platform. I am Financial Coach Ray, the founder, the CEO of Financial Coach for You. Thanks for taking time out to join us. You are in for an absolute treat. Every single week, we introduce small businesses, home based businesses, special guests who have special gifts and talents to share with the general public. So, now, ladies and gents, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our special guest today, Leslie Carr. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio. He has been a Georgia resident for the past 21 years, so I guess you're a transplant. Mr. Carr followed his passion for printing and had a 28 career in that industry. He then decided to become a licensed financial services professional. Realizing a huge need to increase the financial intelligence of the masses, he co-founded NU, which is New World Economics LLC. He is an avid golfer and enjoys assisting others to live their life by design and never by default. So, Mr. Leslie, when did you realize that there is a need to increase financial intelligence? When did you realize you had a need? There's a need out there.
Well, Ray, again, I want to thank you for allowing me to come and speak. But I had that need when I realized that I didn't know that much about my own finances and about preparing for my financial future. So I just began to start reading some books about how to play in the market, how to understand how that system works. And then I realized if I didn't know some things about it, I could probably, rest assured that some other people, friends and family, circle of influence, they didn't know that much about it either. So that kind of just opened up the can of information. I won't say can of worms, just opened up the can of information for people, for myself and then for other people.
Right, and knowledge is powerful, but applying that knowledge is even more powerful. So tell me about your organization, your New World Economics. Tell me about your LLC.
Well, New World Economics is a company that's kind of based on that in itself, on realizing that we're heading into a new global economy that's changing before us. The way we used to handle money, that way is pretty much gone. And I tell people about how back in the day, you used to be able to, you could float a check for 3 days, right?
Right.
You write a check on Wednesday, and then knowing you're going to get paid on Friday, you could cover. Well, because of the speed of our economy now, you just can't do that anymore. And so, what New
Right.
World Economics is about is making sure that everybody makes that personal economic transition, so that no one gets left behind, because we work hard for our money. There's certain traditional things that have been in place for centuries that aren't as reliable as they used to be, a la the stock market, 401ks, things of that nature, which are all things that we still promote, but not just handing our money over to other people and let them manage it for us to get an education for ourselves. And now when we hand that money over to somebody and handling a mutual fund or maneuvering around in our own 401k, we know exactly what we want to do with our own money.
Right. So basically, it gives folks more control in their having their hands in their own finance, giving them the sense of ownership, I would say. So so why do you think it's important to identify the new world economy now? Economy.
Well,
I'm sorry.
well, yeah, that's fine. Because here's the thing. I don't know when's the last time that you went to a physical bank, a brick and mortar building, but here in Georgia, when you go to Bank of America, the lines are long because they only have two tellers. Well, the reason why they only have two tellers is because I've kind of reason that they're sending us a signal that
Uh-huh.
that building costs them money, and pretty much everybody gets direct deposit. Your check gets direct deposited. You have an ATM card, you have a debit card. I pay all of my bills pretty much on time, online, including my mortgage. So now the need to physically be somewhere is really kind of going away. and we're showing that even with the advent of Amazon and even the technology that we're using right now, things will be done electronically. And so I recognize that there's a lot of people who are, number one, they're fearful of that technology, and number two is they are being forced to use it. Well, if we're being forced to use something, then we kind of reason that you should get that information and know how to use it, because when we're being forced to do something, there's a huge resistance there. And with that resistance, we slow down, we get behind economically. I say we, and sometimes we speak of African Americans as being the last to know, but it's Americans as a whole are getting further and further behind. There's a talk about, and we even see it ourselves, the gap between the rich and no more middle class. It's either you're going to be either wealthy or you're going to be poor. So now it's just a great time for people to educate ourselves, to become financially intelligent, to raise that level with the money that we're dealing with ourselves. And then, if we choose to, we can share that information with other people.
Right. And so we have a listening audience, and so I'm gonna take some questions from our listening audience, Les. And
Okay.
let me see here. We have a caller coming in from Georgia. Did you tell your family and friends that you're gonna be
No, no,
on?
I didn't.
Well, I have a question here for you. It says, how can we make the transition into the new economy? How can we make transition into the new economy?
Fantastic, great question. Well, what has been evident throughout the history of people who have acquired wealth, they protected that wealth, and they found a way to leave a legacy for generations after them. And that's the same way. The first step in that process starts with acquisition. Well, acquiring knowledge. Ray, you said it at the beginning, once you acquire knowledge, it's the applied knowledge. So the knowledge or the information is the gold. Once we get that knowledge and this is something that, because of technology today, we all have smartphones. You can do that from the palm of your hand now to get that information. And
Right.
we encourage people who connect with us, because we really don't have clients like we have somebody who we monitor, and we walk them through. But people who connect with us, we encourage them to invest their time to learn about their money. So the first phase of that would be acquisition. Again, the second portion of that is we need to learn how to protect our money with certain vehicles. Yeah, the stock market is great, but we all remember what happened in 2008, 2009 when the market crashed. And the
Right.
great thing about the history of money is the history of money, it goes in cycles. Just like we have four seasons in our environment right now, our economy has four cycles. And so we need to look and see, again, based on that knowledge of where we are and where our economy is and how we match up, how we can acquire the knowledge, then apply it, then we can protect, and then we can figure out a way to keep our money for generational wealth.
Wow, that is amazing. It is amazing, Leslie, because sounds like you're very, very passionate about what you're talking about, the topic of, just being financially savvy. A lot of times, we have families that, go to work and they just pay bills. They pay bills, and it seems like the whole cycle just goes on and on and on. It's all about paying bills. Got to make the donuts. Got to make the donuts. So
Absolutely.
I'm just excited to really talk to you because I'm learning. I'm a financial coach, but I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly on the quest of knowledge because I don't know everything. And just to hear you talk about your passion to educate people on what's out there, it's mind-boggling. I always say ignorance about finance is there's no excuse because we have information at our fingertips, and
Hmm.
people do not take that effort. They don't take that extra step to learn. And when there's situations or when there's classes or people like yourself coming out and saying, "Hey, I got something to share," you know, they don't listen. How can you get them engaged? what are some methods you can use to engage people, like even in conversation, chit chat, talk about it?
Yeah.
People just, want to keep it hidden. They have financial issues, and they don't want to talk about it until it's too late.
Exactly, Ray. You hit the nail right on the head. We take action when it's too late, and we know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We learned that, and those things apply to our money as well. Those things apply to, like you said, in a conversation. For this year, for 2016, there's a 3-word question that I would encourage everybody to ask. It's just 3 words, 3 little simple words, and that pertains to your money or any subject that is of importance to you. Those 3 words are, how do I? How do I find someone who maybe you think they've got it, how can I say, going on financially, or at least you never hear them talking about the struggles or stresses of money. And so, we have to humble ourselves, we really do. And this is a lesson that I've learned in learning this experience and starting out with this, that I have to humble myself and ask that question: how do I? How do I set up something like a 401k, a Roth IRA, or how do I make sure I'm maximizing my income so that I'm not overpaying in taxes, so that I can generate business income, so that I can acquire assets? Again, those 3 things: minimizing taxes, generating business income, and acquiring assets. Those are things that we steer people towards, because most of the people in our country are employees. There's some, and I'm going kind of Robert Kiyosaki on, there's some that are self-employed, that, have a higher profession: doctors, lawyers, dentists, things of that nature. Some people are business owners, they own a system, they own corporations, and some people are investors. But we know that the majority of the people here in Atlanta are stuck on 285, 75, and 20 and 85, going to work every day, exchanging the most valuable thing that they have is their time for money. And that's okay. We're not knocking that. But is your money, is your time being used as efficiently as possible for the maximum returns for you and your family's financial success? So we get back to that question: is how do I blank? How do I get ahead? How do I do those things? And if you ask those questions to the right amount of people, and then you couple that with the knowledge that you're getting, then that puts you in the best position to make the best decisions for you and your family's financial future.
Wonderfully said. And I like that question. I'm going to piggyback off what you just said about how do I? How do I? The questions is it's amazing, because when you look at children and they don't know how to do certain things, they come to the first person they come in contact with is their parents. Mom, how do I? Right? And then these
Mm-hmm.
kids grow up
Mm-hmm.
wondering, okay, how do I, save for retirement? How do I put money aside for the future? And it's like, you need a coach. You need someone there in your corner to show you how to play this game, because it is a game that's being played less. And it seems like
Absolutely. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
the rich and affluent people here in America have the rules of the game. But when you look at families that are working 1, 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet, where
Mm-hmm.
do they go to get that how do I answer? Help me out here. Help me out
Well,
here.
see, here's, and I'm really glad you bring up that question, because traditionally, where have we gone? Right? Traditionally, we've gone to our banks, we've gone to our financial advisors, if we can afford one, or if we have one, or we buy life insurance, right? Traditionally, that's been the case. But the question is, have those going to those traditional resources, have they given us the results that we desire? Well, the answer to that is no. So if we keep going to the traditional places and we not getting the answers that we want, then that again forces us to look elsewhere, because it has to be that desire. See, first of all, we have to understand what it is that we want, not what your cousin wants, not what your neighbor wants. We have to understand what it is that we want. You know, like again, Napoleon Hill says that the beginning of all accomplishment starts with desire. So we look at ourselves, we do a self-assessment where we are right now and say, okay, 10, 20, 30 years from now, do I want to live at this like current lifestyle where I'm at? Do I want it to be better, or do I want it to be worse, right? And so based on we come to understand if I want it to be better or if I want to maintain it, how do I do that? What do I do? So we start to ask questions. We start to read. We start to get connected with groups on the internet, on groups that are in meetups, right? That groups of people that are like-minded, that are kind of like we're in the same boat. But then there's companies like us, like New World Economics. You know, we're like I said, we don't particularly have clients that we take people and we sit you down and we show how to do that. We provide the resources for you to, like I say, to minimize your taxes, build business income, and build assets for generational wealth. So there are companies out there that provide the tools for you to do that. These companies, in many aspects, are companies that are designed to help people to do that, to gain personal financial success. They provide the tools for them, and what we do is we connect people with those tools to give them the opportunity to manage their own personal finances.
That is fantastic. And I'm having such an exciting time listening to you talk, Leslie, because as financial coaches, that's exactly what we do. We partner with organizations like yours because you provide the resource, and there are some people that really need someone to hold their hand and walk them through the process because it's something new that they've never done before. And you mentioned you talked about a word before, desire. Desire is so tremendous. Desire will get you off that couch and put you out there to find what you're looking for. Desire will put you on the right track to accomplish your goals and your dreams. If you have no desire,
Yeah.
I look at my 16-year-old son. I said, son, you're 16. That means a couple more years you're on your own. If he has no
Mm-hmm.
desire to do something big in his life, I can help him. I can
Right.
motivate him. I can tell him all he needs, but he has to have that burning desire in him to push him and to propel him to do the best that he can in school. So now I'm talking about families out here that's struggling. Of course, they need to increase their financial IQ. Can you talk a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about that? Just talk a little bit about that, Les. How do
Oh,
people
sure.
increase their financial IQ?
Well, in many instances, people, they kind of, I think, Ray, they kind of get it backwards, right? Because I know I've done it. I think that raising my financial IQ means I go out and I make more money, right? If I make more money, then that means my financial IQ is higher. That just means you just leverage something and you increased your income, not necessarily increased your financial IQ, because your financial IQ means once you're in that acquisition phase, you've acquired the income. Now you protect it, right? You protect what? You protect the value of that hard-earned dollar that you made, which is the second phase of what we kind of call the millionaire's trifecta. So how do you protect it? Well, you can protect it with real estate. You can protect it with precious metals. You can protect it with whatever is deemed an asset, right? And we all should know what an asset is something that's going to either increase in value or something that's going to protect the value of our dollar. Well, a lot of people say, well, I want to start a business. Okay, well, that's great. But what type of business? And some people want to, go into debt and get business loans. Well, that's great, as long as that debt is uh, purchasing an asset that's going to generate some income. So getting that financial IQ, again, it starts with what you want, and it starts with your defined desire, and then you have to go to work. You have to get the knowledge yourself. No, it's out there, but nobody's going to hand it to you. So you have to dig. This is the dirty work. This is the part that we don't like, because our lives are so full with raising families and going to work and dealing with things of that nature. But for the importance of our families, we need to start investing our time so that we can be an example for those who are coming after us. And how do you do that? Again, it's just the knowledge that you want to acquire, connecting with people, going to organizations that are out there, because there are a plethora of organizations out there that have this knowledge for people. You can even go to your library, right? And hopefully everybody has a library card, because we pay our taxes for that. You can go to your library and get that. But one thing that I would like to mention is one of the companies that we use, they provide these tools for everybody to raise their financial IQ, so you can do it from the privacy of your own home. 2016 is a time where one of the main goals of everybody, mostly everybody, is financial goals. Want to reach some type of financial improvement this year over last year. Well, where does that start? That starts from where you are and having a real life assessment of where you are, and then, like we talked about, making that decision about where you want to go. And then once that happens, there's organizations like yours, there's organizations like mine that again, we need to eat too, but our main focus is to really provide a service for people in 2016, so that we who live in the greatest country in the history of mankind, we don't have to struggle financially. And so that's kind of ironic that we do live in the greatest country that has ever existed in history. We've got more luxuries, and that might be the issue, but we still struggle financially, and that's because if we handled money the way we used to handle money, we'd have money today. And what I mean by that is things like, instead of getting credit for frivolous things, like I say, it's okay to get credit for a business that's going to create an asset that can have money coming into you. But to get credit for frivolous things, well, we, again, not trying to tell people what to do, but we should be tired of that right now, right? We should be grown enough to say, hey, I'm going to change some things different in 2016, so that now I can be in control of my finances. And so how do we do that? How do we ask those questions. We put our heads up, right? We have to find out who's doing what and get connected with those people. And here's something that I recommend that everybody does. We ask for information and instruction and never ask for advice.
Right. And you know what? Pride. This word pride it would shut you down. It would,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would just kill you. Because, see, we owe it not only to ourselves, but we owe it to our next generation to give them
Absolutely.
that information and that knowledge that they need, so they do not make the same mistakes that we made. I
Mm-hmm.
want my children to be better than to get to where the top level. I want them to do better than me. And so I owe it to them to get that knowledge and pass it on to them, so they can pass it on to their children, so we can break the cycle. And
Right, right.
we have a question out here from a listener in Texas, and she says, Leslie, would you agree that in order to survive the new world, we would have to lead the world in developing talent and creativity? And if so, can you elaborate some more on that? Can you elaborate on how to do so?
Absolutely. Ray, and I appreciate the question, come from Texas. I used to think that inflation was our worst enemy. I used to think that, because inflation, that's why, when we tell people that you need 3 times as much income into the future, 30 years from now, as you do today, just to make it, today, right? But
Right.
inflation, have a little bit different perspective on it now. Inflation, because it eats into our buying power, it forces us to become efficient. Inflation is, to me, is the perfect imperfection, because it forces us to become efficient. Now we have no choice but to become creative. We have no choice but to think outside the box. We have no choice now to not take things as the norm as they are, but to change things up, right? And we have so many companies out there today that are leaders in that. One company, for example, is FedEx and UPS. The traditional way was used to be the post office. They said, you know what, we can do a better job than that, and they've proven that they have. Even Google, the that company, all they do is provide information. That's it.
Right.
They're a resource for information. So now we don't. When's the last time you used the yellow pages for anything,
Ah,
right?
thing of the past.
Yeah, thing of the past. And so that's exactly right. Because we're forced to get better, we're forced to become more efficient. We have to think creatively. We have to work together as a group, right? There's a lot of individuals out now that are talking about group economics, how we can take our money and put it together to generate a power. Well, that group can be a group that we form inside our family, inside our neighborhood, inside our church, inside wherever. And it's the power of connecting the dots to work together. Again, the way we used to do things. Because here's what I didn't see it, and I'm not that old, but you
Yeah,
know when villages built houses, everybody worked together and built one house at a time. And
absolutely.
when it was your turn to build a house, then everybody worked together and built your house. We can still employ those tactics today, but you hit the nail on the head. It's the pride. We're kind of selfish. We kind of have this attitude of, well, I'm a little bit better than you because I'm a little bit more formally educated, and that's something that's really going to be a detriment to us if we don't work together to change that right now, so that everybody can move forward and no one get left behind. So again, creativity, we have to have that, or else we will get left behind.
Right. And I know we're running short for time, Les, and I just wanted to just put a little disclaimer out there. I know it's hard to trust people online, especially when you not really looking, not able to look in their eyes. But I can assure you that any guest of financial coach for you, anyone that we introduces you to, has your best interest in mind. We are ready. We're available to assist you no matter where you are located. We are virtual. Thanks to the Google Hangouts, we're able to reach a lot of people. And as financial coaches, we are mindful of our money as well. So we love free. I love free. I love to take advantage of free tools that are out there that help you build your business. So you don't have to get in debt to build your business, is what I'm saying. So we're not only available to help you with your financial game plan, but we provide you with resources that you need. Capital NEED, not wants but needs. So thank you so much, Leslie, for joining us. You want to give us some information as far as how do people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. They can connect with us at newworldeconomics@gmail.com. That's NUWORLD economics, ECONOMICS at gmail.com. And the information that I talked about today, would love to share that with anybody who wants to connect with us. And again, it's not anything that we're going to try to solicit you or get your money or anything like that. We'll just provide you with the resources for you to make your own decision. And those resources, those tools are available for everybody. They're great tools. They've been well established, and something that we really can use to get us where we want to be financially.
All right. And in closing, I have something. This person from Louisiana, my goodness, they mentioned that many people have the idea that money is actually an evil thing. I think this is an illusion. It is a tool for security. Establish your independence or equip you to exercise power and influence. So that is wonderful that your money is a tool. It's not evil. And I always say, Les, If money was evil, I want you to look in your pockets, look in your pocketbook, and give it all to me, because you should not be holding on to evil stuff, right? Any closing comments,
That's right.
Les?
No, again, I thank you for the platform and being able to connect with you, Ray. You're just doing a phenomenal job, or a fabulous job with helping people, and it's just my pleasure to connect with individuals such as yourself and your organization. I do say this, that I became me around other me's, and we grew.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on our platform, and all the best to you and your organization. And I look forward to collaborating more with you. Have a wonderfully blessed day.
Thank you so much. God bless you too.
Okay. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Don't hang up.